She's back. This is Radio 97, and we are talking law. Our resident lawyer, Despina Priala of boutique law firm Priala Legal in Runaway Bay, with us every Thursday, well, starting from now, after having a couple of weeks off, to offer her legal expertise by providing some general advice on the latest hot topics. She has experience that spans more than 25 years in the areas of property and commercial law. She also prepares wills as part of estate planning and litigation. With us once again, hello to you, Despina.
Hi, Wayne. Hi, Brooke.
Good morning, Despina. Good morning, Wayno. Welcome back, Despina. Oh my goodness,
We've missed
2 weeks.
you.
Thank you. It is so good to be back after 2 weeks. And I have to apologize. I've been sick, not very well at all, which is unusual for me. So I'm very happy to be back now doing the show and going out there to all the listeners. So yes, we're back for today.
Woohoo! And exciting news as well. You're not just on the air, you're also online with us on our two Facebook pages, Breakfast Radio 97 and Radio 97, the group page. And I couldn't stop laughing reading the comments because I think it was Mike or a few of our regular listeners who have been with us for a couple of years now commented, oh my gosh, is this actually Despina? When you said your little hello. So
I
you
know.
can confirm it is you, right?
It is definitely me. So everybody out there listening, and I know Mike and Tanya have made some comments, which is very nice, and some other listeners as well. So it is definitely me. So when I went to join the group, it actually came up with the automatic wording, hi, I'm so-and-so, I've decided to join the group. So it looked like, I think an AI had written it, like artificial intelligence, but I think it just came up automatically, it did. And then I said, okay, that sounds like, or looks like good wording. I'll just use it and adopt it, and everyone knows I've joined the group. So yes, it's me. I'm officially in the group. So if you see me come up and make comments, I think I put a picture of Tank on there as well.
Tank, your beautiful
So
doggy.
it is definitely me.
Yep.
Yay.
You can never be too sure these days.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's so nice to have you. And it's a nice way we can all connect online as well. So if you do have any questions, you can always phone, obviously, the Priala office,
Yes.
but there's the Priala Legal Facebook page. We have our Facebook page, Breakfast Radio 97. So get in touch. Now we're all on there.
Touch. I think it's a really good way if you've got any topics of interest. You know, something that you might have read in the paper or online that you might want to get some more details on. Just, you know, put a little comment and say, hey, what about this topic? And we might be able to talk about it on the show.
For sure. Yeah, nice, easy way to share some articles and recent news. And speaking of recent news, this brings us to our very first hot topic, hitting headlines. Some very popular, huge, I should say, insurance companies are involved in a big lawsuit with ASIC, which is the Australian Security Investment Commission. So just, you know, why are these big companies, which we'll list a few in a moment, why are they in hot water at the moment now?
Yeah, so I came across this. It was the 4th of April article. So I had planned to talk about it, but the last 2 weeks, but I was sick.
Got unwell.
But yes, so ASIC is suing a company called Auto and General Insurance Company for alleged unfair contract terms in insurance contracts. And why is that important? Because pretty much everybody has taken out home and contents insurance. So we are talking about, you take out home and contents insurance, it's an insurance contract, okay? So most people take it out. ASIC have decided, well, you know what? A lot of these insurance companies, and I'll list them in a minute because they'll be relevant for the listeners out there, contain unfair contract terms, they allege. And they are specifically talking about one aspect of the policy, which when I mention it, people go, oh, yes. When I take out insurance, I always get told this, that make sure you tell us if anything changes about your home or contents insurance. Yep. And what does that even mean? What does it mean when the insurance company says, well, make sure you tell us if anything changes? What specifically are you talking about? What changes do you mean? And ASIC have decided, you know what? That's way too broad.
Yeah.
It's ambiguous, it's unfair, it's unjust. And we're taking umbrage with that. And we're basically suing this company now for alleged unfair contract terms. And if they're successful, what it will mean is that those insurance contracts will become void.
That's heavy.
It's heavy. It's heavy stuff. So we want to talk about the companies that are listed. So this is all public information. It's not something that I'm divulging that I'm not allowed to divulge. So you can actually Google the article yourself, and ASIC have an obligation to post this information to the public. And the article talks about the insurance companies we want to list now, because it may very well be that listeners out there have got an insurance policy with these companies. And we want to talk about the relevant dates because it does go back a fair bit. And we want to talk about these because if someone has lodged a claim and it's been rejected, then it may be you want to follow the outcome of this case because you may be able to go back and then relodge it and get it accepted if it was for this reason. So the first thing is to list the companies. So the companies that have been listed in the article are Budget Direct. Okay, so Budget Direct Home and Contents Insurance, Australia Post Home and Contents Insurance, ING Home and Contents Insurance, Catch Insurance. Now, I haven't heard about that one, but that's listed. Virgin Insurance and Qantas Home and Contents Insurance. So these are very familiar brands for the everyday Australian. And people out there listening might go, you know what? I do have or did have a policy with one of these companies, and their ears should be pricking up listening to what we're talking about this morning. So what the relevant date is here is ASIC have said, look, since the 5th of April, okay, 5th of April 2021, that's the relevant date where the unfair contract terms regime extended to insurance contracts, right? So that's the relevant date. And then they say, look, from the 5th of April onwards, 2021, those policies of insurance where it says if anything changes about your home and contents, whatever that means, they say it's too broad, disclosure obligations on the everyday Australian as an insured. And you can say to yourself, yes, well, what does that really mean? What am I supposed to tell the insurance company about changes? Do we mean changes about the house, changes about how it's occupied, changes if there's repairs or damage? What does it mean? So it's too broad, and I totally agree with ASIC, and I'm glad that they've taken these steps, and we want to see what the outcome is, because this is all about protecting consumers, because people spend money, and in this climate, everybody's watching their dollars. Absolutely, in this climate in Australia. And you take out insurance, you pay for the insurance policy, you pay for the premiums, and if you lodge claims, you pay excess, typically. So if your claims have been, if you're listed in one of these companies and you lodged a claim, say from the 6th of April 2021 to recently, and your claim was rejected, you want to go back to see what the basis was for the rejection or the denial of the claim. And if it was for this very reason, for example, oh, you didn't tell us about this change that we've just discovered, you might want to go back, pull out all the paperwork and sit and wait to see what happens with the outcome of this case, because this will be very relevant. And if this is successful, it will be a huge game changer.
So companies have actually used this, insurance companies have actually used this as a way of getting out of paying people what they presumably deserve.
Well, that's what ASIC is alleging. The company says it didn't. But the point being that even if the companies didn't use it specifically to deny a claim or to cancel an insurance contract, the point that ASIC is making is, but they could. That's the point they're making, that the insurance contracts contain these unjust, unfair terms. So the fact that the company might pipe up in defense and say, yeah, but we never used it, that's not the point. The point is that the unfair contracts term regime is there to protect consumers. And if they enter into contracts that are covered under this regime, where those contracts do contain unfair contract terms, the point is not that they were actually used to cancel a contract or to void a claim. The point is that they're actually there in existence in the contract, that they should never be, because it's an unfair contract term. And that's what ASIC is alleging. And I think that the steps that ASIC are taking, yes, they eventually got round to doing it since 2021, but I think that it's a very, very good step that they've taken. And I hope that they are successful in this.
Oh, definitely. So when the announcement is made, do you have any rough idea? Do you think in the next few months we'll find out what the outcome is?
I think in the next few months we will. And certainly now that this is public information since the 4th of April, certainly the outcome will be posted. And I think, as I said, it will be a game changer for everybody, even if we're talking going back retrospectively, because this is since the 5th of April 2021 that insurance contracts were covered under this unfair contract terms regime umbrella. And so it's very relevant. And look, these days with insurance and people watching their dollars, I mean, you want to have every claim validly accepted, if it is a valid claim, and not to be under this umbrella where, oh, we're going to deny or cancel it because we consider something that you should have done, some sort of obligation that you didn't comply with, that was actually an unfair condition in the first place for you to comply with.
100%. Yeah, way too vague. Thank you so much for that, Despina. And I'm sure when those changes do come into place, you'll hear it here on the Talking Law on the Breakfast Show. And coming up next, another huge building company has gone into liquidation. How does this affect everyday Australians? That's coming up next on Talking Law with Despina Priala on Breakfast Radio 97.
Are you confused about legal jargon? Do you need legal advice but don't know where to turn? Tune in to Talking Law with Despina Priala every Thursday morning at 8:30 on Radio 97. Despina, a leading lawyer with over 20 years of experience, will demystify the law and provide practical advice to help you navigate legal issues. Whether it's a family matter, a property dispute, or a business concern, Talking Law has got you covered. Don't miss out on this valuable resource. Tune in to Talking Law with Despina Priala every Thursday morning at 8:30 on Radio 97.